Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you're like me, you've been paying close attention to what's happening in the NFC East. And lately, one of the hottest topics surrounding the Washington Commanders has been the potential move involving their wide receiver core, especially with the future of Terry McLaurin hanging in the balance. The team's management has been pretty tight-lipped, but the whispers are getting louder, and the NFL rumor mills are buzzing. It's no secret that Washington needs to bolster their receiving core, and recent developments point towards a possible shakeup that could reshape their offensive strategies for the upcoming season. And one name that's been making waves in the discussions is Treylon Burks. Let's talk about why this is such an interesting story. Burks, drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft, was once seen as a promising young star. Coming out of Arkansas, he was highly touted, and expectations were sky-high. He showed flashes of brilliance at Arkansas with over 100 yards and 11 touchdowns as a junior, which made teams like the Titans see him as a potential A.J. Brown clone. Big, fast, athletic, and capable of making plays downfield. And honestly, the Titans traded away A.J. Brown to give Burks a chance to step into that role. But as many of you know, the NFL can be a brutal reality check. Burks' time in Tennessee didn't exactly go as planned. In just 27 games over 3 seasons, he only started 17. That's a pretty limited sample size, especially for a first-round pick expected to be a franchise receiver. And the truth is, he never really found his footing in Nashville. Injuries played a significant part in that. He suffered a broken collarbone this past offseason, which sidelined him for crucial development time. Plus, with the Titans' depth at wide receiver and a changing offensive system, Burks was often fighting an uphill battle to earn consistent playing time. It's not that he lacked talent, far from it, but the inconsistency and injuries meant he couldn't showcase his full potential. And now, with the Titans deciding to part ways with him, the door opens for a fresh start. This is where the Washington Commanders come into the picture. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, is Terry McLaurin the undisputed WR1? Why would Washington bring in someone like Burks? Well, the truth is, even if McLaurin remains on the team, the offense needs depth. And more importantly, they need a player who can step into that X-receiver role if McLaurin ever faces injury or declines in performance. Burks, at 6'2" and 225 pounds, checks all the physical boxes. He's built to be a true outside receiver, someone who can go up and get contested catches, stretch the field, and serve as a reliable target in critical situations. Now, let's be clear, Burks isn't coming into the league as a polished veteran ready to dominate from day one. He's still young, at just 25 years old, and he's got time to recover from his recent injury and develop his game. The big question is whether Washington's coaching staff sees enough upside in him to give him a real shot. The potential is there. Teams can overlook his limited production so far because of his athletic traits and raw talent. If the Commanders decide to sign him, it could be a low-risk, high-reward move. Not a blockbuster signing, but a smart one, especially considering their current receiver depth chart. Deebo Samuel, Noah Brown, and Jalen Lane are decent options, but none of them come close to the potential Burks has if he hits his stride. The timing couldn't be better for Washington. With the uncertainty surrounding McLaurin's future, whether due to contract negotiations, potential trade talks, or injury concerns, having a player like Burks in the pipeline makes strategic sense. They can develop him slowly, integrate him into their system, and see if he can evolve into that reliable outside threat. And let's not forget, schematically, Burks fits what they need. His size and athleticism make him an ideal candidate to fill that role, especially if the team plans to diversify its offensive looks or adapt to different defensive schemes. Of course, the first year might be about recovery and learning the system. Burks still needs time to get fully healthy and adapt to Washington's playbook, but the long-term upside is undeniable. Think about it, he's young, with a lot of room to grow, and he's still in the early stages of his NFL journey. If the Commanders can get him right, he could develop into a key piece for their offense, providing that deep threat and contested catch ability that's so hard to find. From a team-building perspective, this move makes a lot of sense. You want to fill your roster with players who have a high ceiling, even if they've shown some inconsistency or limitations in the past. It's about betting on talent and potential, especially at a position as crucial as wide receiver. Burke's traits are exactly what the Commanders need: size, speed, athleticism, and if they can nurture him, it might turn out to be a steal. Now, I want to touch briefly on the bigger picture here. The NFC East is fiercely competitive, and every team is looking to improve their roster for the upcoming season. The Eagles and Cowboys are always aggressive in free agency and the draft, so Washington must stay proactive. Bringing in someone like Treylon Burks isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about adding a potential game changer who can develop into a core piece. With the NFL evolving so rapidly, having a versatile and athletic receiver with upside can be the difference maker in close games or playoff pushes. Looking back at recent seasons, Washington has struggled with consistency at the receiver position. McLaurin has been reliable, but beyond him, there's been a lack of depth and explosive playmakers. That's why this move, if it happens, could be pivotal. It's about building a balanced attack, giving quarterback Sam Howell more weapons, and ensuring that the offense isn't overly dependent on one player. If Burks can develop properly, he could be that second or even third option that defenses have to respect, freeing up McLaurin and others to operate more freely. And let's not forget the importance of coaching and development. Washington's new offensive staff has a chance to really shape Burks' growth. They can work on his route running, his understanding of the game, and help him become more consistent. It's about patience and long-term planning. Sometimes players don't hit their stride immediately, but with the right environment, they can blossom into stars. One thing is certain: this potential signing makes the Commanders' receiver room more intriguing and dynamic. It sends a message that the team is serious about adding talent, about being aggressive in the market, and about building a roster that can contend in the NFC East. The division is tough, with the Eagles reigning champs and the Cowboys always dangerous, but Washington is making moves to stay competitive. The signing of Burks, or at least the serious interest in him, could be the start of a new chapter for the team's passing attack. So, as fans, we should keep a close eye on this situation. Will Washington make the move? Will they give Burks a chance to prove himself? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: this is an exciting development that could have long-term implications. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and moves like this can shape the narrative for the upcoming season. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the possibility of Washington signing Treylon Burks? Do you believe he can develop into a reliable outside receiver? How do you see this impacting the team's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and the journey to another Super Bowl run continues, with new faces, new hopes, and a lot of passion. Thanks for being here, and as always, let's go Commanders!